Hello, in this video I am going to talk about JavaScript data types. So what are data? Data are everything in this world can be considered as data, but in JavaScript data, strings, numbers, arrays, objects, booleans, they are considered as data. So there are like the main five types. The main five types of data are string, numbers, object, array, and booleans. So JavaScript actually you in JavaScript these five datas this the datas of these five categories are used throughout all time. Okay, now I'm going to explain these data types one by one. So I'm just gonna write a heading of this HTML document which is this video is about JavaScript data types. And so this video is about JavaScript data types. Okay. Now I'm going to explain every data types one by one. I'm first gonna take a variable. Remember in JavaScript variable contains data. So data are stored in variables in JavaScript. So variable, let me just put data one. So I'm going to so first important data type that you need to know about is strings. So what are strings? Strings is a word set, and this set of words is used in JavaScript usually. You can call you can say that strings are like an compulsory organ of JavaScript. You can't use JavaScript if you don't know what a string is or how strings are used. So I'm word set and strings. Strings are normally enclosed with the word set. The words of the set of the string are normally enclosed by quotation marks. Now this quotation mark can contain double comma or single comma. So let me just say that I want to write this. I want to this is a this is a very important thing that should be known. So a variable data one contains this string in it. Now how will you insert something that contains the now how are you going to insert a quotation the same quotation mark a quotation mark inside a string that is already enclosed by a quotation mark because if you put a quotation mark inside the string that quotation mark that was put it between in between a place that is in between the two quotation mark will perform a affect the string output. Look here, I'm gonna put quotation mark here after the word important. Now, now this is a very important. This has become the string, and the thing that should be known is now not part of the string. So how are you going to perform a quotation mark inside a string? If you want to put a double quotation mark inside a string, then you will have to increase the word set by a single quotation mark, and then you can put a double quotation mark here. By this way, you are putting quotation mark without affecting the genuinity of the string. But how are you going to put double quotation mark inside the string that has been included by a double quotation mark? There is a way of doing this. I'm going to explain this way now. You will have to use a function. You will have to use a technique for doing this, and that technique is that you first have to write a double. You will first have to write a backslash. So where is a backslash? Yeah. First you have to write a backslash. By backslash you are entering the after writing the if you write a backslash, then the character that will be written after the backslash will be inserted into the inside the string. So if I put a double quotation mark after the backslash, then the resulted string will contain a quotation mark behind T, and I also want a quotation mark after T. So I am going to insert backslash again, and then I am going to insert, then I am going to write double quotation mark again. Mm, Double quotation mark again. By this way, I have inserted two quotation marks inside a string that has been enclosed by two double quotation marks. Two sign of double quotation. Okay, so this is one way of so this is the way that is used for inserting the same quotation mark, the quotation mark that is same as the quotation mark being used for enclosing a string. Now, why are strings used? Strings are used for many different reasons. I'm going to explain this to you now. Okay, imagine that I declare a variable that has a name data1 and its value is my name is. Okay, now computer may have many many values for the name, and I can actually declare these values, and I can actually insert this name after the word is very. I can actually put different name after the word is by using strings. So how am I going to do it? I'm going to explain it from now. Data 3, my name is Tahid, and maybe data variable data 4, my name is. So now I am going to show you now I am going to show you three different paragraphs that contains this word, this sentence, my name is, and each of this paragraph contains either one of these three names that have been declared in these three variables. So I'm going to explain this to you now. How how I have now how I'll do it. I'm going to explain this to you now. So first thing is first, I'm going to declare three paragraphs in the body section. PID P1, and this paragraphs doesn't contain any writing in it, but they will contain these writings. My name is, and then any of these three names in it. But in the original form of this element, they don't contain anything. Okay. So the first paragraph's ID is P1. I'm going to fetch this paragraph and I'm gonna change the inside form of this element. The inside form of this doesn't contain the inside of this element doesn't contain any text in it, but I'm going to overwrite this programming. I'm going to forcefully enter text inside this paragraph element that is empty. So document dot element by ID one. I'm gonna use the inner HTML. So document.getElement by ID is equal to the paragraph element with the ID P1, and I'm going to change the inner HTML of this. I'm going to change the inner HTML of this element. So I'm actually changing the inner HTML of the ID of the element with P1 that belongs to this document, HTML document. Okay, so now this is one variable data one is my name is. So I'm gonna write data one plus data. And there's gonna be a big mistake. Look very carefully and you will see the mistake. But first I'm just going to show you the result of my work here. Hmm, my name is Ashik. There is no space between is and Ashik. So how am I gonna add a space? I can either space after I can either add a space after is, or I can add a space after behind before the word Ashik. I'm just gonna add a space before the word Ashik, and then you'll see that a space will be applied between these two words. See, now I'm going to just produce the other paragraphs. Data 1 plus data 3, this will be data 3, and this will be data 4. Okay, and I'll just add space before the names. Before the person names, I'm going to add space, and I have added a space before these three person names. And now you will see the results of my work. see. So I didn't have to. So what this is I have actually done a computer programming here. Computer programming by computer programming, I actually you I actually used a variable. I actually connected a variable with another variable to produce this. I actually connected a variable with another variable for producing a result. So I have actually combined variables. So this combination of variables is very useful in JavaScript and is done a lotly. Okay. So what are the other data types? The other data types are also very important to be known. So another data type is number. So numbers numbers are not strings. Strings are enclosed by quotation marks, but numbers are not enclosed by quotation marks. But if you see numbers being enclosed by quotation marks, then you will know that these numbers are not numbers, they are actually strings. So I'm just gonna declare a number. So I'm just gonna assign this value 24 to data 1, and I'm gonna assign the value 34 to data 2, and I'm gonna assign two other values to these two less data 45 and sorry, I made a mistake. Now see, if a data 1 is added to data 2, the result will be 58. So and if data 1 is added with data 3, the result will be I think 69, and if data 1 is added to data 4, the result will be 90, I think. Let me see the results of this code. Oh, I haven't saved it. I'm gonna save my work. I'm gonna save my progress, and now I see what this code shows me. So 58, 69, 90. So this is so number is also another data type. Another data type is object. So object, what are objects? And object contains objects also contains a set, but these sets are actually contains these sets are actually a set of sets. And the second set that I have talked about is actually a set of property and property values. Imagine that imagine a person with a name John Doe, and his age is 45 and his eye color is blue. Now I can combine all this information into one object which will describe this person John Doe. So variable person, I'm going to name this variable person, and I'm just gonna the first property set, that's the first set of this set will be the name set, and the name set is John Doe. You see that the value of the name property is a string which is John Doe, and age is a number, so this value won't be enclosed by string, and his eye color is blue. So how am I going to fetch these values? I mean, I want to fetch these values and want to insert this value inside the P1 paragraph. How am I going to do it? Now remember, the name property belongs to person. Age property belongs to person. Eye color property belongs to person. So if I write person dot name, this means that this actually means person's name. If I write person dot age, then this means it's person's age. If I write person dot eye color, then this means person's eye color. The apostrophe, the dot sign always means apostrophe. Now I am going to write this. Now if you see this example, you will realize everything. Plus, this plus button. Plus, mhm, plus, and the average. Now this is the function that is plus person age plus feature with uh, plus person. Now you see the result of my coding. If I save the coding and then I just go to the web page and refresh the web page, you see this, you will be able to see the results. Okay, I made a small mistake here, so I'm going to correct in what I have written. So yes, there's gonna be a space before this y. See, so the resulted sentence is: he is John Doe and he is 24 years old with eye color of blue. I know that I have made a mistake here. Um I mean, age can never have eye color, but I made a mistake and I'm sorry for making this mistake. And but I was so into coding that I didn't notice that hair can have eye color. The hair can never have eye color. Okay. Okay. So this object. Now another data type that you should know about is array. So what are arrays? Arrays contains array is a set. Array is always a set. Imagine that I have declared a set cars and car names, and this car names contains names of multiple multiple names of cars. For example, one car brand name is Suzuki. I'm just going to write some car names here. Suzuki, Audi, Suzuki, Audi, Dodge, Toyota, Suzuki, Audi, Dodge, Toyota, and yeah, I guess this should be enough. Now look at this car names array. This car names array contain four car names in it. So this car names array is actually set a set of four car names. So this array contains four elements in it. This means that array is actually a set of some things. Now I am now see that in computer programming, number one object of a variable is always আমি কাজ করতেছি is uh, always has an index number of 0. Number 2 object has an index number of 1. Number 3 object has an index number of 2. So number 1 object of an array is always considered then the index number of the number 1 object of an array is always considered as 0, and the second element of the array is considered the and the second number of the second element of the array has an index number of 2. Okay, so I am going to now change the now I am going to firstly fetch the first element of the array. The first element of the array is Suzuki. So if I just write the array name and then put third bracket and then put a 0 in between the two brackets, this means that I am fetching the first element of the array, and the first element of the array has an index number of 0. So this means that this Suzuki name will be then fetched by the computer. So I'm just going to show this to you now. The Suzuki has been fetched. Okay. Now if I now I want to fetch the last element of the I'm going to fetch the second element of the array. So how am I gonna do it? I'm just gonna write the array name. Then I'm gonna put third bracket after two third brackets after the current after the name, and then I'm gonna put two in between the two third brackets. This means that now I'm fetching the third element of the array, which is dot. And you see that there's an empty string here within a space. There's only one space in between these two quotation mark, which will add only one space between the two kernels. If there were two spaces, then there will be two space. There will be a distance equal to distance being created by two spaces between these two cars. Between these two kernels. Okay. Now I'm just gonna refresh the web page and see. Now I'm just going to add two more spaces in between. I'm just going to add two more spaces inside this quotation mark just to show you that there will be more spaces can be added between these two kernels. See, it's also be done. Uh, these are the main four types of data that are used in JavaScript usually. Now I'm going to talk about booleans. Booleans may have only one of the two values, true or false. So if you're working with data that can work only one of the two values, which is true or false, then you will have to use boolean. Yeah, that's all you need to know. These are the five types of data that you need to know if you want to use JavaScript for programming. That's all I wanted to teaching this video. I hope that you have liked this video a lot and you have enjoyed this video a lot, and stay healthy, wealthy, and happy. Goodbye.